That was our last episode of wrestling here. We're going to start this podcast off with NHL track here.
We have.
Oh, I interrupted you. Did I just interrupt you?
I don't think that part of the wrestling podcast when I started the broadcast. If you want to play that for a few seconds
All right,
or
we'll
a
play
minute or
some of
so.
it right now.
Talk about how looks strong and pathetic promos once a match comes around.
This is from our last podcast with wrestling too.
Oh, see the wins. We all know how this BS works. I think it's more creative. I think
That's more than wrestling.
We already knew AJ Styles would win, but actually, no, he did win at Money in the Bank.
Thanks to the Bullet Club, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you do that.
But that's not what we're here to say.
We're not here to talk about wrestling. We're here to talk about the NHL draft, which is tomorrow night.
Up the street,
Well, up to 20 minutes.
Yeah, if you're taking the 219 and the 90,
Yeah,
up to the 190. All right, we got breaking news off the top of Bleacher Report, as reported.
Is it I don't know. You even call it a rumor? I don't know. You can't call it a rumor.
No, it's not a rumor.
Hold on.
But didn't Tim Murray say in his press conference that Columbus is not trading overall pick? I guess there's other. I guess it's otherwise now what they're reporting.
What's the new thing on? What's the new thing on NHL? What's going on Buffalo Sabres? What are we?
We'll get to that in a second, but just to update rumors, the GM of the Blue Jackets doesn't think a move up in the draft is likely. Serious offers, though, however, on the third overall pick. This is from Bleacher Report Team Stream. Also last night, Keith Yandel, who got his rights trade from the Rangers to the Panthers, has agreed to a 7-year deal worth $6.35 million. Also includes a no movement clause. This according to ESPN.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
So Keith Yandel got signed to a 7-year deal yesterday. About $6.35 million per year.
Posted the draft picks here. Calling Niagara Falls.
Did you see a couple of the jabs that teams and cities are already taking at Buffalo?
No, I'm not.
Did you hear about the people in Boston taking jabs about how they talked to 50 players and they said they don't like Buffalo, they wouldn't want to play in Buffalo? Are you kidding me? Seriously.
Let's go Boston.
That is typical Boston. Their arrogance. They still the arrogance of a sailor. Actually, worse than a sailor.
Championships. I don't know what. But they weren't even going to make the playoff last season, so I don't know what you're talking.
Yeah. I don't give a darn about Boston.
I've never seen the city of Boston. I mean, I would love to go to Boston and enjoy it. But what? I mean, I don't know if there's any validity to that. To be honest with you, I don't see.
Whatever. I don't care about their Boston radio station. I just saw.
They're to play about Buffalo all they want.
True that.
Nothing gets Dunkin' Donuts. I love it.
We love Dunkin' Donuts.
Of course, that's what you like to.
All right, we're gonna get to our NHL podcast, but also want to update you that with less than an hour ago, that Sean Steffner of the Channel 7 News local media was reporting that Ennis or Gergensen's likely to be in a deal that the Ducks and the Sabres are working on for Cam Fowler.
So
that's according to Sean Stepniak of Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Outside of here. So quite interesting news. I mean,
There's been a lot of rumors thrown around.
it's the day before the draft. How do you not have
The hockey press also, Zach Reese retweets this. Okay, look, they're close to a deal. If I was like involved for and picks, so when it goes down, may happen tonight, may happen tomorrow.
Address a need for a quarterback type power play. Obviously, which
And Tim Murray said he needed a quarterback power play.
But I guess whether they announce it tonight or tomorrow. Again, it's not confirmed. Obviously, we don't. It's got to go through the NHL trade.
But you obviously know news and a lot of other different sources reporting that. Then you're expecting Tim Murray to capitalize on this deal.
Well, there's another rumor. Lefty options like Hampus Limholm, possibly.
Yes.
This is from Saber Noiser on Twitter. It's John Shannon from Sportsnet saying quiet for Storm Buffalo. So, but it's going to be a big story tomorrow, obviously because of Trump.
And also the draft's being hosted in Buffalo, which is very exciting for Buffalo fans as well as the city of Buffalo. Projected to $9 million plus in dollars, just from the event alone.
A little side note here: there's Sabres hired forward reduction cap system, which Bob Dance involved in staff today. So.
All right, so to backtrack what Mr. Graham over here is saying, the Sabres have a new assistant coach. As you know, Dan Lambert, or no, it wasn't Dan Lambert. Who's the other guy that was on Boston staff last year that went to Florida? Dave Barr.
Dave Barr.
Also, Dan Lambert became Rochester coach just this off season. But anyway,
now where was the rumor about Boston? I want to go back to that.
It was on yesterday. If you look at the Buffalo News tweets from Mike Harrington and stuff, I think it was the Boston 1290 or something.
Boston 1290. That's WEEI. Was that WEEI?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, to be honest with you, Jimmy.
So 1290 a.m.
Probably. You can look up on the tweets too.
In the United States, I have to go to probably have to be WEEI. Boston. That's where there's a lot of.
Oh, here's another report. Panthers deal Grimaldi to ask for goaltender Berra. That's on Bleacher Report too. Okay, Bob Woods is the assistant coach in Saberland. He was a former assistant of Bruce Boudreau in
Anaheim.
And also was assistant with the Washington Capitals. So nice hire. Nice hire.
I'm going to try to look up stations on here. I can't find Massachusetts.
Maybe it's not on.
Was hard for Connecticut, maybe.
It was just check Mike Harrington or actually
GR
550.
I have to check that tweet out there, but obviously Stanley Cup. I don't know.
I will get to it.
But that, to me, that seems but that's just so disrespectful. Now, whether it's true or not, what players are they talk
for? What?
Jeremy White.
I'm looking at it.
Prospects are in the fall there, right?
Where are you seeing that yet?
I showed you Instagram sheet.
Instagram has it on there?
Look at Instagram. But see, that's a little harsh That's a little harsh to be honest.
You know Boston. They're prideful people. People. I guess see this. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking. I'm looking.
Well,
We'll have to find it later.
but going back to, but I'm obviously the day for draft is always big hype, obviously it's because of the prospects. But see, like the last couple of years, there's a lot of
Let's see if Mike Carrington has it while we're at it.
and I'm sure that he has it somewhere. I don't know.
I'm not a big fan of Mike Carrington at times, but I mean, whatever.
Give me,
See that with Eichel.
you gave my all rookie team. It's truly.
Oh no, I was talking about the it's on Mike Carrington's tweet too. So whatever. There's just
Good God, they're bashing.
a lot of dishes today. So whatever. I don't give a crap about the dishes, but whatever.
I mean, you can say whatever. No, but
All right, getting on with the show. Back to the back again to the topics. The expansion process is complete, and Las Vegas will have a new franchise starting to compete in the 2018 season.
So we'll have our reaction on that. Plus, we're going to talk about NHL trades. This is our part one of our draft special here. Tomorrow, part two. MSG and Puglia Sports has an exclusive deal creating a new regional sports network. We're called MSG Western. We'll grab more on that. We already talked. We haven't touched on assistant coach.
And also a preview of this week's race at Sonoma,
which is nothing to do with NHL. It's the NASCAR New Pacific Blue. Tomorrow on part two of
the countdown, we are going to talk about draft prospects as best as we can, and also what teams may do to trade up in the draft.
I mean,
or use picks for players.
So right now for our shows right now, there's been rumors about a podcast today. Here's part one. We have Edmonton.
I meant the fourth overall.
Oh, you made a mistake on the
Yes, I did.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I made a mistake on my topic list here. Also on the rumors, it's been the talk of
has been a talk for the last
talk of the town, you could say.
Months here. We'll talk about his chances on which team we're certainly going to miss. Jimmy Vesey, we trade for his rights, but will he actually sign with the Buffalo Sabres or World Sabres?
And more Sabres rumors we will talk about, as well as teams with cap crunch situations and what will they do with trades. What we think they may do.
Speaking of which, full thoughts on what we're thinking. Oh, the Boston people.
No, yeah, the Boston media. That will be our "What Were They Thinking" segment. That will be perfect.
They fall right into the trap there.
They fell into the trap of "What Were They Thinking" segment.
No, Boston.
I'm sorry if it's not inflated or deflated, but Tom Brady must be laughing his head off with that comment. I have no idea, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just being sarcastic. We don't relatively like Tom Brady in the Buffalo sports market. Side tangent, but anyway, getting to the expansion.
I was watching the press conference yesterday with Gary Bettman and he's talking about both presented some great proposals there to Quebec. And they're putting the Quebec on hold, obviously due to Canadian. One of the factors be the Canadian or fluctuate, which it was a great bid by Quebec. I mean, There's the financial current debt from Canada is not the Canadian dollar. So,
Hasn't been great.
no, it has a little bit. I mean, but obviously the actual West team, another West Coast team, they're big. Of course, this is major, this is major for City Vegas. This is their first professional sports team ever. They, which is kind of surprising, considering,
Add the Canucks to the Steven Stamkos line of suitors. You know every team's going to.
I don't know. It just seems like so you got maybe I think 8 to 10 serious legit.
And not to just Vancouver.
But reality, there's really 4 or 5 teams that are in serious contention. I think.
No, I agree with that assessment. But I'll say this though: the older, aging teams like Detroit, and I don't think there are.
New York's one. But going back.
But hold on a second before we get back to our. No disrespect to the Canucks fans and no disrespect to Vancouver. You got the Sedins there. They're in the mid-30s.
He's got to be his mid-30s.
I think about 35. But my point is, it's like Detroit, Vancouver's. Yes, they got a couple young players as Detroit, but they're still an aging team or are an age team that are in a team of transition. You're probably going to see a more fuller rebuild in the next few years. Maybe not so much with Detroit, but Vancouver, I wouldn't stretch to say that they would probably be in a more of a rebuilding mode in the next couple of years.
Vancouver, Usually has been carrying this team for the last 17 years.
Well, not 17 years.
16 years, maybe 17 seasons. 17 seasons. We're all here. They've been the face of the franchise. The two faces of that franchise for almost the last 2 decades here. It's kind of come to a close. Unfortunately, you're still playing at a very high level, but you wonder how much. I don't see them lasting much longer. I don't know. It's hard to say. They've been one of the best duos in the National Hockey League. They're going to be Hall of Famers. They're going to be Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, first ballot. It's unfortunate. I would love to see them be Stanley Cup champions. I wouldn't mind seeing when hosting Stanley Cup here. What are you doing in Vancouver somewhere else? But I think their window is closed. Almost like San Jose here. With San Jose with Joe Thornton here. One story for if San Jose won the cup, it would have been huge. Obviously not Pittsburgh. Obviously Pittsburgh, but that would have been especially.
They don't have too many. They got a well-balanced team in San Jose that can contend for.
The game's coming much faster. I think the way this game is being played now, I think they got to get younger too. As well. So
don't most teams do though? If they haven't done it already.
It's coming a faster game. When you look, you've got the last couple of years. You look guys like Connor McDavid, Chacko, and Dylan Larkin, or like Ryan Hopkins. The speed game is becoming more prevalent because
you could say in the last 10 years.
The last 10 years, because obviously with the rules being way younger and limited and not being as physical as it used to be. Obviously, they're still going, but you're not. But I'll go back here.
Well, his point was the. Locality, but not goons with Peters and.
Well, the game's come more transitioning to a skill. about skill.
Who else besides Peters that fought? You talk about Brian McGrattan, or no, actually no, Jordan Tutu, or
Think of John Scott.
well, yeah, that too.
John Scott anyway, but we're seeing less and less of these enforcers. It's kind of like a rare species. It's become a rare species. You're seeing a lot of teams that are trying to go be more skilled top to bottom.
Like a fight line anymore. It's more like you have, as I heard,
Yeah,
two first and two third line type players. They can also grind but also score. All your lines now have got to score. It's not just maybe one or two lines, or possibly even three lines score. It's all four lines you have to score. But the range of goals and expectations can be varied a little bit. But still, you're supposed to score. All right, talking about on a different subject, the trades up to this point. Let's get to them right now. On May 25th, the Panthers traded Eric Branson, as well as a fifth-round pick in this year's draft, to Vancouver in exchange for forward Jared McCann pick this year and a fourth-round pick this year. Now, Branson is a defenseman. I forgot to mention that up front, but anyway, the next day, San Jose traded Dylan Sadoi's rights to Detroit for a third-round pick in 2017. Mark Savard, who hasn't been playing the last few years, mostly been on injured reserve, his salary cap, and
a lot like with with Pavel Datsyuk. Yeah.
Well, not so much. This is more injury reasons. You could say Nathan Horton type reason. His salary got moved, as well as a 2018 second-round pick to New Jersey for forward Paul Thompson and forward Graham Black.
Graham Black, I don't know.
We do not know who these two players are, but they were part of the Jersey organization.
Death rolls, yeah. It could be
or AHL.
Minor league HL process.
All right, we bump up to, that was June 10th, by the way, for that trade. Now we bump up 5 days later, where the Blackhawks made a big trade with the Hurricanes that sent Timo Teravainen and Brian Bickle to Carolina.
That was, I think, it was one of the more blockbuster deals so far. And obviously the Blackhawks been notorious for their capture team to try to create cap space. So again, that's the salary-based move. But also trying to keep the team kind of given existing contract.
Especially with Andrew Shaw being an unrestricted free agent, they might want to re-sign him as well. They got sent for a second-round pick in this year's draft and a third-round pick in its 2017 draft. A day later, Dallas sent Alex Goligoski, a defenseman, to Arizona in this year's draft. And as already reported a few days ago, Goligoski got signed to a 5-year deal. I'm not sure about the money, financial-wise.
A tweet from John Vogel here about Jakob Chicherin here. He knows he will soon be Edward go to fire mode. I'm not sure about that one. I don't know.
It's just an article, probably just a little
snippet of an article or news. Oh, it's this way. Here's from Mike Harrison. I've got a big love and asked about Andy should play Tim Murray. Sabres goal sign. Let me clear my throat. That's funny.
What did it say, Jimmy? Slow it down. What did it say?
The quote from Michael was saying is what goal anthem should be played if Team Murray wins the World Cup hockey. He said Sabres. I'm saying Sabres goal sign.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me clear my throat. That's pretty funny. That's quite funny. Actually.
That is interesting. Also, on another side note, that Montreal's been listening to offers on PK Subban. That's been talked about the past, you could say, for a little while now. And just to talk about that quickly, is Montreal GM Mark Bergevin crazy on thinking of trading Subban's contract?
I think that's real. I don't think. I mean, why?
I think there's more than rumors.
I don't think they're going to trade Subban. Why would you trade your franchise defense?
Why would you even consider thinking about trading your franchise defenseman?
Would not consider what were they thinking?
I wouldn't consider what were they thinking. That may be a case, but it does happen. That will be a topic of what were they thinking. Are you kidding me?
I know. He's been there hard so defensively. Obviously, this last season was a disappointing season for the whole team.
The last few years have been disappointing for Montreal fans.
There were no right of the season. First, but the trade
they were first in the division at one point, I think, in the beginning of the season, and then they just followed the wagon after Carey Price injured himself.
I think the only reason that they were traded, maybe it's salary cap again, in the salary cap era. That's the only thing I can think.
I think it's more the salary cap thing. I think it's.
Is there a personal issue? You wonder.
You never know, but I would think that they're entertaining idea. I think they have. They have the franchise goalie Carey Price, one of the top goaltenders in this league. And yes, you got Subban, but you don't have a lot of forward depth, like superstar caliber forward depth. You don't.
Well, except for
maybe.
Except for did he get traded?
I don't think he got traded, but anyway.
But when Montreal was on last year, they could score much, but then they're not. They look really awful.
They look like a fragile team without their pole in the ground.
It's more surprising with them keeping Michael Shelterry out. I was really shocked they did.
I'm surprised that they didn't throw him out. But if the same thing happens towards.
I think he's on the hot.
He's definitely on the hot seat, in my opinion. Even though the Bergevin said, "Oh yeah, we're keeping our coach." You gotta imagine if Terry go get
another season.
I don't think it will be a season if Terry goes though. Anyway, going back to the trades that happened so far. On June 20th, the Coyotes traded Maxim Latunov and a 6th-round pick in 2017 to San Jose for a 4th-round pick in this year's draft and a 3rd-round pick in 2017. And I already mentioned that Nashville traded the rights to unsigned draft pick Jimmy Vesey to the Sabres for a 3rd-round pick. As we now know, it's pick number 76 in this year's draft. And
they forgot to put the 1 in there, make it 716. Oh, funny side note.
Good one.
The draft's in Buffalo, so obviously the 1 between 7 and 6.
Well, about 4 days ago, we know what happened between Anaheim and Toronto that shipped Frederik Andersen to Toronto for a 1st-round pick in this year's draft.
That's a great move by.
And a 2nd-round pick in 2017, but yes, it is a good move.
But that's a great move for Toronto. You need a number 1. Obviously, James Reimer didn't work. So
I don't say James Reimer didn't work. They've attempted Bernier didn't work. Bernier has been
I'm sorry, Bernier didn't. You're going to be your number 1 goaltender. Well, obviously, it's not totally his fault. Bernier's fault. Obviously, Toronto. Is Henry, I still hate that comment. The one that sports I mean about they're better equipped for rebuild than Sabres. That just doesn't.
They're a few more years away than we are, in my opinion. I think in a few other different people's opinion. Toronto, the media up there always wants to create a buzz and a stir and create controversy. It's no different than Boston.
There's gonna be a buzz tomorrow night when you pick Austin Matthews. I can guarantee that one.
Yeah, a lot of those Maple Leafs fans. I'm not bashing Austin Matthews. I think he's a one-of-a-kind generational talent like Eichel and McDavid. Maybe more like a Kopitar.
But you think is there going to be a lot of pressure on the kid? I think that's the question.
Obviously, with Toronto, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that kid. More so.
Be from Scottsdale, Arizona. It's
emerging as a hockey place for young talent, but
in America.
but relatively unknown. You know, they
I know
haven't.
what's surprising. You talk about the growth. What about in Nevada? You know, we're in Vegas. I mean, it's
I think it will. I think it will. It might take a little bit of time, but I think there's a lot of people in Vegas there from many different parts of the country that will probably latch onto hockey, and that will grow. You know, once that gets going. Anyway, finishing up the trade stuff. Obviously, Keith Yandel, we already reported, got shipped to Florida. That was for a 6th-round pick in this year's draft and a 4th-round conditional pick in 2017. And today's goaltender trade, the Avalanche traded Reto Berra to the Panthers for Rocco Grimaldi. That was also talked about.
Goaltender.
No, it was a goaltender, and the other one coming back was a forward.
I think he's probably in depth form there.
Yeah, probably some minor. I don't think Berra is a minor league, but I don't think this is a. We'll see how that works out. I have no idea how that's going to go for either team, so that's that. Anyway, back to the our proverbial list. Let's talk about the MSG and Pagula Sports deal.
Some exciting news about television.
It's been already been reported and talked about
Official
that more local programming with Sabres Hockey Hotlinks and the John Murphy Show being simulcast on WGRM.
Bill's program will be also on the regional network there, which is fantastic. You know, there are some Bill's freezing games taken over for WW. Also, live preseason games will be on Sabres.com. Broadcast on Sabres.com.
How did you know that?
It was part of the deal.
Oh, thank God, because I can't stand not watching preseason games. Unless you're a Time Warner cable customer, you can watch them. If you're a DirecTV customer or a Satellite customer, I don't think you can watch preseason games. So that would be a nice bonus to watch on Sabres.com. Anyway, I think it's a great deal, long-term deal for both the Sabres, Bills, and MSG, carrying that local theme. And there's been talks about Pagula Sports doing their own TV channel, which was heavily rumored.
There were possibly fraternity of MSG, not MSG, but Empire Sports Network.
It wouldn't be so much a return, but like it would be like similar.
Well,
it would have been like a rumor that's been talked about. But since the deal happened, it's a win-win for both sides. You know, there's no pressure to fork out.
But again, this is for games not television.
Fork out millions of dollars or billions of dollars in a startup TV network that could go bankrupt. You know, but go into your point. What were you gonna say?
But I think it's a great thing. You know, having our own MSG network going.
Our own local local market. This also
We've watched in the fall here,
and this will also benefit Rochester people. You know, because this works out for them as well with getting Bills and Sabres and all that good stuff. So anyway, moving on. We briefly touched on Bosman's new assistant coach. This seems like a good hire, but I'm just keeping it brief. I wish this new assistant coach the best, and hopefully we can improve with just this coaching change.
The main use with the former Sabres game cut
assistant. I'm sorry.
So 670. So DirecTV would be 635-170.
Where are you getting this, by the way?
That'll be on DirecTV, so it'll be an alternate channel.
Well, they kept it the same because it's usually on -1 on 635, so that's nothing new.
Whereas now you have more content besides just the Sabres.
And it becomes more of a full-time thing than just playing Sabres games just on that sub
So
channel.
the Iron staff would be.
Okay, this is an update on Bleacher Report about on PK Subban. They're just confirming what we've been talking about. PK Subban about entertaining offers.
Oh, so he's been entertaining offers, or
the Canadians have been entertaining offers. This is according to TSN.
no? It doesn't mean it's exactly going to happen. I mean,
I think it might happen. The way things are being talked about, I wouldn't be surprised if Subban gets traded. But I think that would be a big blow to Montreal.
What's the percentage that he'll be traded? What do you?
60-40.
I'm gonna go 10% he's traded. I just don't. I mean, again, But
if Montreal,
I'm just not seeing it.
If Montreal didn't want to trade Subban or entertained offers, I think they would flat out say, no, we are not trading Subban. And this.
The likelihood of going down, I just don't see it. But I could be wrong.
All right, now we're going to briefly preview of this weekend's race at Sonoma.
And we got ours.
Yes, we got our topics, but I want to briefly touch on Sonoma, the first road course of the year for the Sprint Cup teams. It's always an exciting event. You got two passing zones in turn 7 and turn 12, or turn 11, I should say. But that's always like your short track style road course, and there's a lot of bumping and banging, not a lot of passing, but it always is exciting watching Sonoma because you never know who's going to win. So I cannot wait for this week. I'm a big fan of road courses, and since there's no Jeff Gordon racing there, you could probably root for Tony Stewart or root for Chase Elliott, but I think it's going to be an interesting race. What do you think?
It's always a great race. We sure nevertheless, of course, I'll be work a little bit, so unfortunately, I'm not going to see any on tape delay, but
whatever. So anyway, getting into our meat of the podcast, let's get down to business. Let's talk about Edmonton possibly trading the 4th overall pick. Now, if you look at the draft board, what the experts have projected, the most likely pick to go there would be Matthew Tkachuk, son of legendary Keith Tkachuk. Edmonton, as we well know and well documented, needs defense badly. You could see a lot of teams talking Edmonton. Buffalo, I can imagine, being one. Now, there's been talks about Neil Yakupov, not necessarily, particularly pertaining to Buffalo, but Neil Yakupov, Jordan Eberle, Tara Hall, a few different names. Most likely Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as well. But that's, a lot of trade rumors surrounding Edmonton. And there's been rumors about possibly Pysyk going to Edmonton, Gergensen's going to Edmonton if they were to swap picks. Like we said, Edmonton needs D in the worst possible way.
Well, I totally agree, because when you look at Edmonton, a lot of offensive talent, but defensively, they're just lagging. And I think
they've had a lot of number 1 draft picks over the past 6 years, and a lot of it's been offensive. It's not totally been defensive. So you could argue the fact that getting our forward besides you could argue that getting forward would be just as beneficial in some ways, but you would have to draft if you wanted. Edmonton would likely trade down to get like Ole Ulovely or Jakub Chychrun or Mikhail Sergachev, one of the 3 top D prospects.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good defensive prospects. Jake Bean, Charlie McAvoy. Who else am I missing off the list? I think there's a lot of quality defensemen this year. And
there's a lot of quality in this draft too. So I think if you're the Sabres, you would possibly entertain, trading up for the 4th pick, tomorrow. I mean, it doesn't have to. There's no need. I mean, I think we'll get Alexander Nylander. I think that's
That would add to the Buffalo Toronto rivalry because a Nylander plays for, I think William Nylander plays for Toronto.
for Marley.
Well, for Marzen as well as
What is the latest rumor so far?
uh, William Karlsson signs a two-year, $2 million contract with the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm assuming he was a restricted free agent. Also, Chris Drager on Shattenkirk. It said, I don't think we have sound effects on the show, but you could hear the old cash register ringing.
Oh, gee. It sounds like Blockbuster.
Nah,
The cash register ring. So,
who knows? I think they're talking about the money on Keefe and
funny.
this is also Drager. The Oilers would love to move Yakupov. The problem is they can't get much more than a third round draft pick. And he was a number 1 overall originally.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to make. Maybe I think probably your better option would be trading Nugent Hopkins, or you try to get some more value. Right? And so as right now we're continuing to track and follow these rumors here, or whatever news pops up here. But
somebody misspelled Steven Stamkos on their tweet. It's Josh Reed of Channel 4 WIVB TV.
Oof.
Are you kidding me? How can you spell Steven wrong? It's spelled SREVEN. Are you kidding? It's STEVEN. Josh, what are you doing?
It's not what.
Spell check your words, buddy.
Well, we all need spell check every once in a while.
Let's make this a side segment of what were they thinking? Well,
we're not gonna yet.
No, but let's just add to the.
We need to have music for that voice control. My iPod is killing me.
Okay, so no match found. No match found.
I'm trying to find which one.
That could be Edmonton. No match sound or nearly.
No match found.
Hashtag
no match found on that one. I don't know.
I have no idea.
That's funny.
Okay, let's get into the Stamkos watch. We already heard about Buffalo, Detroit, Toronto. You know Toronto, Mia wants to stir up the Stamkos pot, saying Stamkos will sign here since he's near Toronto native, yada, yada, yada. Detroit.
Well, he isn't near Toronto here, but
Detroit, that would be a decent place. Buffalo, yes, but we already drafted Eichel and Reinhardt, but there's a lot of different things we can talk about with that. So let's start off with Toronto. Now, obviously, they just traded for a goaltender in Frederik Andersen. But during last year's trade deadline, they unloaded a lot of different players. Now, they still have James Van Riemsdyk. They traded Phil Kessel to Pittsburgh. They got a good amount of upcoming prospects, talented prospects coming up. My only thought on Toronto is what I said earlier. They are a few more years away from getting to where we are as far as the Sabres is concerned, in terms of a little bit more ready to contend for playoffs. I think another 2 or 3 years, but they away further than Buffalo. But that's just my opinion. Although you will never think that with Toronto fans. Well, yes, Austin Matthews is probably going to help them significantly. I'm not denying that. I just think that you're still a good few years away from getting to where the Sabres are, or any other team that's gone through this. What do you think about Toronto?
No, I think they get Stamkos. They're immediate playoff contenders. I mean, I think with any team, but the question of it. Well, but then again, you're right about.
They do have a number one D person helping out. What was his name? He's a left-handed defenseman for the Maple Leafs.
Dion Phaneuf?
No, he got traded to Ottawa last year.
All right, yeah. Sorry, I bet. No, but I think every team that gets Stamkos are going to be instant playoff contenders. Yeah, except for Toronto. Toronto may be a question mark. Like Detroit.
Oh, Jake Gardner. That's who I was talking. But he's already 26 though too. Oh, I meant Morgan Riley too.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at their roster. Brooks Light, Joffrey Lupul, he hasn't really produced in the past few seasons. Mahalik got traded from that Ottawa deal to Toronto. They have Stefan Robidas. They have P.A. Pierentol, former Islander, former, I think, Colorado Avalanche player. Leo Komarov. Nazem Kadri. Not a big fan of him. I think he's an ass, but anyhow.
On the ice,
but whatever you want to call it. Peter Holland, okay, two-way, probably. Nathan Horton, that's just salary cap. Colin Green got acquired last year from Ottawa. Michael Grabner, one-time Islander. Brad Boyce, former Sabre, former Blue, former Panther. Obviously, they talked about Jonathan Bernier. They don't have a lot. They have a lot of prospects, but at the same time, you could say some are star quality players, but not. You got a lot of depth players.
A lot of young talent coming up, but again,
I think in our few years, a way to make a serious push. I could be wrong. Not saying they couldn't make the playoffs if they had
Stamkos. Want to be like Edmonton, where no more draft movies and not.
Looking at the stats, they did not qualify for the past 4 of the 5 years, and they did a lot of retooling in the past time. They haven't had like a proper rebuild.
No, they haven't.
So look at their roster. You got some decent players, some veteran players, and everything. I'm not saying it's not the caliber of Buffalo or Detroit as far as talent-wise overall. But at the same time, I still think you're going to need a few more pieces than what you're going to need a few more pieces like Buffalo, but maybe in a bigger sense of free agency, trying to get some more superstar players or get more of your prospects up in the top team if that happens. Austin Matthews will definitely help. There's no qualms about it. It's just building a team around you. I think that's the thing.
Well, then you got sort of the goaltenders.
Lou Lamoriello will do a nice job. As well as Brandon.
Well, he won 2 or 3 Stanley
Cups with the Devils. It would be a nice fit for Stamkos in some respects, but at the same time, I think we got Detroit's got some nice talent too. Now let's look at Detroit's roster while we're at it. I'm looking this up on Wikipedia as far as roster players. Just as far as players are concerned, we know Datsuk is going to the KHL. You got Dylan Larkin, you got Peter Mrazek, you got Gustav Nyquist. You still got the likes of Zetterberg. You got Tatar. You got veteran experience and Brad Richards. You still got Cronwell. You still got you acquired. You signed Mike Green last year. Didn't work out so well last year, but Detroit has a little. You can say Detroit has a little bit better.
Well, they've made the playoffs for the last 25 years, so
yes. Detroit will have a little bit better. I shouldn't say a little bit better chance. They have a decent chance of landing these Stamkos with the quality of players they have.
Yeah, very true. I think you're right about that one. These road shot Buffalo was certainly.
Now, would they be on the decline? I don't know. Because you got a couple of players that are in their mid to low 30s.
Right.
You still got a good amount of young talent. To maybe a little bit more younger than Toronto, to say the least, at this point. But then again, I mean, it all depends on fit and where Stamkos feels he has a better chance. I definitely wouldn't rule out Detroit. I would not rule out Detroit. But then you have to factor cap situation too. You have to factor in the cap situation with Detroit. Now Toronto, I don't think cap's going to be an issue at this point. Some Detroit definitely a cap issue, most likely. New York probably cap issue. Vancouver, I'm not sure on their cap issue. I'm going to go to general. Manager. I'm going to look up actually the cap space for some of these different teams. Let's see what Detroit has.
What is Buffalo have?
Okay, so projected cap space is over 12 million, and they have currently 34 players signed out of the 15-man roster. Projected floor space is over 6.3 million, and their total salary is 61.199.
Yeah.
Well, 61.199,166. Projected salary cap pay is about over 60.3 million. And to Toronto for their cap situation. Projected cap space 7 million
So
at this
that's a
time.
little higher, actually.
No, the cap space is lower than Detroit.
No, Toronto's higher than Detroit. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh no. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me correct myself. Yeah, it is a little higher than Detroit. You're right by about not even less than 1,000 though. So, case in point, yes, both teams are probably going to clear out some players in trades or buyouts if they haven't used their buyouts.
But again, that's the bigger issues.
So let's see. So I checked yesterday on the Buffalo's cap situation. They have about projected 22.7 million in cap space. A minus 3,000.
That's not good.
That's floor space though. That's not cap space.
Oh, floor space. Does that necessarily mean bad? I don't know.
I don't know. So let's actually check out Vancouver's cap space while we're at it. We're just getting on a cap space fanatic. Let's just see where are the Canucks. Oh, there we go. Cap space for Vancouver, 9.2 million cap space projected.
That's
so not Vancouver has some shot. I'm gonna just check New York's for 2 while we're at it. 16.9 million cap space.
Why don't they target Stamkos?
Stamkos, I mean, I think they have a little bit, definitely have interest. Eric Stahl's not. They said Eric Stahl won't be back in Carolina, but I don't know if they'll sign Eric Stahl in New York. He could be a possible target if we don't land Stamkos. His veteran experience with the Sabres. So just going over the list, all from generalfanager.com, right?
Yeah.
What are you watching, by the way?
Hurricane Lesbian.
Oh, George Little Rock. This is a little retreat from 20 minutes ago from Zach Reese. He's a big hockey guy, local Orchard Park person. Someone around the Oilers organization confirmed to me that the Canadiens asked for Draisaitl in the fourth pick for Subban.
That'd be interesting.
I doubt they would want to trade Draisaitl.
That'd be a big pickup for Raptors if they get.
But I don't think they're going to want to part ways with Draisaitl. I doubt that. Draisaitl is a key piece to Edmonton.
With Kyrie David.
So enough with Stamkos. We'll just see how that goes. We briefly touched on Jimmy Vesey. The Sabres acquires Rice. They have until August 15th to sign him. After that, he'll become an unrestricted free agent. Just a quick thought on that. I think Vesey will sign with the Sabres, but I can't be so sure either. But I think there's a good chance.
I definitely would see Sabres uniform. I think there's a lot to like, with him being Eichel and Reiter. I think, that's really part. I think you got Bryce player Vander Kane, and Ryan O'Reilly, I mean, I think, the possibility you can camp out. I think what can be better.
It is interesting to me that that as far as Vesey, because there's a connection with Eichel playing in Boston University.
Boston.
His dad is a scout for the Maple Leafs.
That'd be interesting to see.
I think he'd be a good addition. I really think he would be. He's 6'2". He can play. He's a left winger. I think he's a hot topic because I heard he's a scoring machine. He can grind. He can get to the net. I think he'll be a nice addition if we get to sign him.
Right.
So anyway, enough about Jimmy Vesey for now until that all settles. There's not much to talk about other than that. Teams with cap crunch that will deal.
We've already seen with Chicago. They've been doing it for like the last couple of years.
LA doesn't have a lot of cap space, and they may be looking to deal.
Honestly, what do you think about possibly about Lucic coming to Buffalo? Would that be?
I don't know about.
I mean, because obviously we know.
I think Lucic would like to play for Vancouver or Edmonton. It would be nice. It would be ironic that we signed Lucic. I wouldn't say he's out of the realm of being signed by the Buffalo Sabres, but there's also another free agent in Kyle Okposo that would interest us.
I understand why Europe was trading. He's part of the hires.
No, they didn't trade Okposo. He's an unrestricted free agent.
Right, but I don't see why they thought of trade.
Not traded, but let him walk.
Let him walk. He's been hurt. So it's hard side.
I'm part of that organization for a long time, for close to 10 years.
No, Tavares, he's not a free agent this year, but he's a free agent
next year. Yes.
So
there's talks about rumors him possibly going to Toronto next
as well.
Year.
So, but the question is, if you're Toronto, do you say, well, if I don't be better off in Stamkos this year, or going for Tavares next year?
Sometimes I don't believe hockey buzz either with some of their stuff. Michael Agello is not on my favorites list. I unfriended him, and he's a guest regular on Hockey Bugs. He's more of a Maple Leafs fan, but he lives in Buffalo. I don't care nothing against him, but there's just one thing about one comment where it's like, whatever, don't need to hear from you at this point. So, whatever, I don't care. No personal issue, just whatever. I don't care. If you want to see the tweet that he sent out, it's on his Twitter page about Vesey in Buffalo. So
We didn't like it.
I'll pull it up for you. I'm putting Moke. Hey, I meant Mike. I thought I unfollowed him. Followed him, I did. Oh, this was a tweet that Michael Agello said. This is from New Puck Day. Neil Yakupov's trade values at bargain basement levels. He stated Sabres should roll the dice and trade one of their first round picks to get Yakupov. They already wasted one on VC. Are you kidding me? It's a gamble. Waste one on Vesey? Are you kidding me? Mike, I know you're a Sabres hater. I shouldn't say you're a Sabres hater, but you're bashing on them. Come on, Mike. What, seriously? Waste a third pick on Vesey. We had about 4 third-round picks. So wasting one of them is not like wasting
A first round pick.
Yeah, exactly. So get off your high horse, Mike.
That's first little rant of the day. I'm sorry.
It's called What Were They Thinking? So
Is that time? Or say we some.
well, we're not there. We're not there yet, Jimbo.
Oh wait, it is not.
We are still talking about our number 4 topic. Teams with cap crunch that will deal. So let's see. We know Chicago will probably deal.
Well, Anaheim, we certainly heard rumors earlier about.
They've been going on for a long time between Anaheim and Buffalo. You know the Lightning will.
Stamkos, but they got to sign
Hedman and the Triplets.
Ben Bishop's a big.
He was rumored to go to Calgary. Also, Marc-Andre Fleury was rumored to.
Yeah, that's. But
not saying that they're going there, but there's rumors
why
of.
Why would you trade your number 1 goal? The play of Matt Murray. I need some more iced tea on a little thirst.
But Matt Murray was relatively decent and relatively stellar for the Penguins in the playoffs. You know, Marc-Andre Fleury has a concussion history.
I think that's part of the reason for concussion history.
Not saying he's not a great goaltender.
He's a great Stanley Cup champion.
Let's see who else is in cap. Doom.
Yeah.
Yes, Montreal would say, I'm looking for a dire team that's really in cap trouble. Nashville's a nice team that still has about $13 million, but they're not in cap trouble.
Well, I think teams have become more cap conscious.
They have cap people. New Jersey. New Jersey has about close to $30 million in cap space. Damn. That's a interesting team to watch for Stamkos, I would say. $15 million for the Islanders. That's not too bad too.
Yeah, anybody with cap space is gonna want to sign Stamkos. Right?
And also the expansion draft that's coming up next year because of Vegas will force teams to move players.
The biggest thing, the biggest being the 31st. It's gonna bring some. Now it's only being treated this year and next year because, especially the expansion draft next year, is that it's like what's gonna, how are teams gonna react? How are they gonna, handle this cap? With the cap going up, so now instead of
it's not going up by much, but still.
About 20 other teams, now you're going to plus the new ones.
All right, Ottawa's got over $18 million in cap.
It's year one. for Willie Carson.
That was already reported by our reporter, and I just said it about a few minutes ago. Ottawa signed this guy re-signed a restricted free agent, Buddy Robinson. I have no idea who he is. Canes Joe Hanley, I have no idea who he is. But continue with the cap people. I go to Philly. They got about a little over $14 million in cap space. I got to recheck Ottawa's cap space. This is GeneralManager.com. Did I say Ottawa had a little over 18 million? Okay, maybe I did.
Okay, this is Neil. As you know where I do, I'm going. I'm just excited. So
on
the Blizzard report page.
Pittsburgh, they are in way cap trouble. Even though their projected floor space is 20.3 million, they are into the red zone with a little over $1,382,499 in projected cap space, which means they are over 1,000 in salary cap.
Well, I think the biggest thing Pittsburgh they're saying, but there's.
Let's check San Jose while you're in. Go ahead on your rant.
No, it's not a rant.
You're saying. What were you saying?
I'm just saying, Pittsburgh, they're going to have to make some moves here. There's been talk about getting Malkin being traded. Obviously, with Fleury, some guys there.
San Jose has about 12 million cap space, but go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like if you're what is cap, you're gonna have to make some tough decisions on who you're gonna keep and who you're not.
So we obviously know Pittsburgh's probably gonna have to make a move to get under the cap limit. You could say the teams that have about $5,000 to $6,000 in cap space obviously are gonna have to make some moves to free up some cap space, or in order to resign some or all or none or whoever. That's up for debate. Tampa Bay has a projected $20,000 in cap space. But again, you got to look at the signees that are coming up soon with Tyler Johnson, who's a restricted free agent next year, Andre Palat next year, and Killhorn this year. Here's some of the other restricted free agents: J.T. Brown, Nemestikov, Nikita Kucherov, Cedric Paquette, Ozzie Victor will be a UFA next year. Suster will be a RFA. Nestrov will be an RFA this year. Ben Bishop's a UFA next year. That's why there's been talks. And Vasilevsky is going to be a RFA next year. We already know about Vinny Lecavalier retiring, but that doesn't affect their cap hit.
It'd be more some salary.
No, so out of the teams I mentioned, I think, or not mentioned, I think there's going to be a good amount of teams that are going to want to move players.
I have to agree.
Now, let's go to Dallas for a situation, because last year they traded for, I believe, Niemi. But their contracts take up about $10 million in cap space. And the goaltending was not so great,
right,
but also the usage was not so great. So look at Dallas. They got about $14 million in cap space. They could probably try to go after another goaltender via the trade market, like a Fleury. But you have to get rid of one, to say the least. But it's tough to do.
Tough to do, but I think if you're Dallas, you're definitely looking for a number one goaltender.
And more defense, I would say.
More defense. They got plenty of firepower, but the problem is.
I guess Jordy Benn's a UFA this year.
Yeah, but I think he'll stay in Dallas. I don't see.
So we didn't get too much talking about teams that will deal in a sense of who we project to think will deal, but more just realistically, just saying out teams out loud that will probably deal. I think it'll be interesting time with the cap crunch. We know Chicago definite. We know, like we said, the team.
Anaheim, you want them.
Well, not so. Yes and
Well,
no.
teams that Buffalo's not a cap street.
Not so much maybe this year, but projecting cap space in the next 3 to 4 years and beyond, where they have to sign their restricted free agents and keep their some of their star players. So that's all factoring into that, and also the expansion draft. So it's going to be interesting what we'll see out of the teams that are crunched for cap space.
I agree. But as far as Sabres rumors, you mentioned earlier about the Tyler Anderson everyone possibly going to Anaheim.
And also, we've been hearing about Gergensons for the longest time too, with the.
Well, Gergensen, I think, is more of a fourth line center. I think.
I don't think he's a third or fourth line center. I think he's a second. You could be second to third line, but he also can be a winger too. The thing of it is if you sign Stamkos, where does that leave Gergensons on the depth chart? But it doesn't leave him much room to play a good amount of minutes. So it's the Sabres got to make a decision on Gergensons and Tyler Ennis.
Yeah,
he was concussed for last year.
Last season, that concussion, I think that really,
he's been a productive player.
Very healthy, but of course, last season was fortunate. So
unfortunate in the situation with the concussion issues he had last year, and he's been a consistent player. So I don't think there's any necessary to trade Ennis in some respects, but at the same time, if you're trying to develop a team, you got to consider the overall landscape. What's going on, Jimmy?
Nothing really going on. I'm just watching Bull.TV here. We're still trying to figure any more.
Is it thundering out there?
Yeah, it's thundering out. Tomorrow, of course, there's going to be a lot of action tomorrow leading up to the draft.
Yeah, it looks like it's possibly thundering.
I'm going to do a serious noise and see what.
Yeah, there's a brief thunderstorm coming. We're already passing through. So let me get into the Twitter files on the Sabres rumors that have been swirling up. Now, usually you got to take Sabres, any rumor, trade rumors with a grain of salt because they, especially if they're not from a trusted source, people can make up these rumors too. So
yeah, that's the trouble with rumors. You don't know. Or which reports you take some of the rumors you always have to do this.
Here's an update on the from NHL trade rumors. This is just a rumor. Canadians are some serious talks with the Oilers and Canucks about PK Subban. This is what I was telling you about.
Right. Sorry for my audio.
I'm trying to figure out some other rumors. Here's an update on Bleacher Report. Cavs player LeBron James that he will use
Not playing.
in the Rio Olympics. He informed TSU.
Well, I'd be surprised. It was not totally surprised. You know, he's probably need a run. Yeah, but that's okay. So tomorrow. So before we get into what we're thinking, so I mean, tomorrow on part two special here. Tomorrow we're talking more specifically about the Sabres. You know, more about the draft prospect.
And we will also talk about what deals may go down at the draft. More.
And then after the draft, we'll kind of talk about who made the best picks, who made the worst
picks, and in about less than a month, we will have free agent frenzy discussions before July 1st or on July 1st on what Buffalo may do on the free agent frenzy and the days and weeks that follow. Yeah. So that wraps up for the first part of the countdown to the draft. Wait, what?
It's time for our favorite segment. What were they thinking?
Dun dun dun!
So, before we go here, we got a few. Earlier, we were talking about tweeting somebody about it. Just now, this segment is a segment we just like. What were they thinking when they are they out of their minds? So it's kind of a little bit more like we just laugh, we rant, we use.
I'm looking. This might be Boston.com.
Boston.com.
Oh, then. You're looking for it as we speak. Oh yeah, the NHL schedules were released yesterday. If I spoke
we'll
to
go ahead more tomorrow as well.
I'm still trying to look up for that part of what were they that we'll have to find it tomorrow. Otherwise, that's all for today. We will see you tomorrow and have a great day.